Between 2022 and 2023, I made over $300,000 working as a project manager, and I did it without a PMP, without a CAPM, or without any other fancy certificate. And the best part, I did it all while traveling the world, working from Mexico City, Buenos Aires, Argentina, Medellín, Colombia, Cusco, Peru, and many other places. In this video, I'm going to be breaking down 5 realizations that I had that have helped me get to where I am today. So if you're aspiring project manager or you're already a project manager, listen up because this might change the entire trajectory of your career. The first realization I had was that you can literally save decades of your life by learning from someone who's ahead of you. So when I was first getting started as a project manager, or when I was first getting started in project management, I was trying to figure everything out on my own. And the path that I had in my head was, okay, become a project coordinator, study for my PMP, and then become a project manager. But I didn't have any information or any context on all the details, like what industry I should be focused on, which industries pay the most, what skills should I be focusing on to become a project manager, how long should I wait between project coordinator to finally move into a project manager role. And there were just so many things that I didn't know. But lucky for me, early on, I was able to meet a mentor, someone who had already been working as a project manager for 20 plus years, and he was able to guide me and show me which industry to focus on, which kind of projects to focus on, which ones paid the most, what kind of skills I should be focusing on. He also showed me that, you don't have to work full-time as a project manager. You can work contracts as a project manager and under your own incorporation and make a lot more money. And so what he was able to do through just a few months of interaction with him was pass down decades worth of knowledge to me that helped me propel my career and move a lot faster into higher paying roles than I would have if I had just tried to do it all on my own. So when I look back and think, where would I be had him and I not crossed paths 10 years ago? Would I be working contract? Would I be making 6 figures? The answer is, I don't know. But what I do know is that having met someone who had already been doing what I wanted to do and learning from them, it really fast-tracked my growth and my success. And so if there's one thing you can take away here is that whatever you're trying to do in life, whether it's becoming a project manager or some other goal that you're looking to achieve, first, realize that someone has inevitably already done the thing that you're looking to do. And then number 2, if you're able to gain access to that person or that knowledge and learn from their experiences, you're gonna avoid so much trial and error and get to your goal so much faster. And so it is literally the best return on investment that you can ask for when you're investing your time and money into something. So my recommendation is find someone who's already done the thing that you're looking to do, gain access to them, ask them questions, learn from their mistakes so that you don't repeat them, and eventually it will help you get to your goal so much sooner. The second realization I had early on in my career was that the employee mentality will keep you stuck. I'm gonna ask you a couple of questions and let me know if you feel like you resonate with these questions, and then we'll determine if you have the employee mentality or not. So question number 1, do you feel like if you just get a full-time job, you'll be good, you'll have job security, you'll be safe? Do you feel like if you're already working in a job that your goal is just to do the minimum required so that you don't get fired? If you've been working in that job for a long time, do you feel like you're comfortable and complacent? You're not growing anymore. You know that you're steady. You know what you need to do to get your job done. You're just not developing anymore. Do any of those statements sound true to you? Do they sound like they represent you at all? If they do, then you might be in what's called the employee mentality. The realization I had was that the employee mentality, it keeps you stuck. It keeps you safe. It keeps you secure, knowing that you've got a job that's paying the bills, you've got a roof over your head, you've got food on the table, you've got basic necessities met, and so you don't have any desire for anything more out of life. And unfortunately, I know many people who will fall into the employee mentality trap because they get into a company, they start working, then they get comfortable, and now they lose complete desire for anything more because, again, they have all of their basic necessities of life met. Now, in contrast to the employee mentality is what's called the business or consultant mentality. And this kind of mentality is vastly different. This is where people are constantly learning and developing and growing their skills because they know that if they're not doing that, tomorrow they may be out of a job. So their mentality is kill or be killed. Their mentality is eat or be eaten. And so they're constantly hungry. They're constantly looking to grow and develop their skills so that they don't get left behind. And what I've noticed is that people who have the consultant or business-minded mentality is that they're typically able to demand higher pay rates. They're able to increase their salary a lot more frequently and with a lot more intensity than those with the employee mentality. And those with the consultant mentality typically also have a lot more experience because they're working with different companies, different industries, and so they're getting exposed to a lot of different teams and different departments. And so because of that, they're actually a lot more valuable in the marketplace. And unfortunately, those who remain in the employee mentality, what I've noticed is that they typically don't have sizable increases in pay. They typically stay in the same role and typically stay in the same company for long periods of time. And so what this also does is that it makes them resentful, and later on in life, they start blaming external factors for the lack of their success. So if you want to increase your opportunities, increase your pay, increase your salary, increase your success in life, then you need to drop the employee mentality, drop that safe mindset that I just need to get a job, a full-time job, and I'll be good, and rather adopt the consultant or business-minded mentality, and that will start opening up a lot more opportunities for you. The third realization I had was that people rise to meet your expectations, and therefore you rise to also meet your own expectations that you set for yourself. So I want to give you an example of what happened to me early on in my career. I got approached by a recruiter for a project coordinator role, but when I went in to give the interview, the interviewer told me it was for a project manager role. And so immediately during the interview, hearing the word project manager and not wanting to lose the opportunity, I kind of start to behave and act like a project manager, answering questions and saying to myself, yeah, I can do this. I've managed projects before. I've built a website before. I've managed, these types of projects before. And so just from the expectation that the interviewer had of me as a project manager, it immediately started to shape my behavior and shape how I acted and how I presented myself. And I remember leaving the interview, and I just remember, being a little surprised that just by their expectation of me, my complete personality, my complete behavior changed in front of them. And so I kind of did a little bit of research on this, and I actually found out that there's something called the Pygmalion effect, or the self-fulfilling prophecy, which actually supports this, which says that people's expectation of you, that you rise to meet the expectation of others. In other words, if someone expects you to always be on time, somehow if they convey that to you, somehow you find yourself trying to meet that expectation and showing up on time. And so how you can apply this to your own life is that if you feel like you're currently not a project manager, you're not a leader, because remember, project managers are leaders, maybe you don't see yourself as a project manager or a leader yet, you can start saying to yourself and setting standards and expectations for yourself that you are a leader, that you are a project manager. And what you'll inevitably find is that you start doing the things, acting in different ways, behaving in different ways, changing your own characteristics and personalities to act like that of your expectations. So this is something practical that you can apply today and start setting higher expectations for yourself that you may not believe are possible for you. The fourth realization I had was that the only thing that matters is results. Nothing else matters. So once again, early on in my career, I used to think that if I stayed late, if I came in early, if I did all these extra activities at my job and tried to do, tried to go above and beyond at my job, then I would be recognized by my employers, by my managers. I'd get more praise and accolades, and I'd be, promoted faster. And so after doing this for a little while, and at the same time observing the top performers in the office and seeing that, hey, these guys are not necessarily staying later, they're not necessarily working harder or more hours, but they're still getting all this praise and accolades and recognition. What is it that they're doing that I'm not doing? And I came to the conclusion that they were just working on the right things, and they were just delivering more results. It wasn't that they were working harder, it was simply that they were getting more done in the hours they were working, and what they were getting done had more of a tangible impact to the organization, to whatever they were looking to get done. And so this completely changed my mindset on how I should be working as an employee, as a consultant, and I started to focus just on results. So if I was hired to deliver a specific project, I would only work on activities that would move my project forward to getting it actually delivered. And if there were activities that were not going to contribute to the success of that project, then I would do them later or not do them at all. And so that has actually resulted in increasing my productivity and getting recognized and rewarded by my employers much faster and much more, just by simply focusing on activities that deliver results and avoiding anything else that doesn't. And I want to give you an example here to really show you that what really matters for anybody is results and not about activities. So I'm going to give you an example of, let's say you come to me and you ask me to build a website for you, and you're going to pay me $5,000 to build a website. Now, you might be thinking in your head, wow, a website, it's a lot of work. It's probably going to take a week or 2 weeks to get it built. And let's say hypothetically that you watch me build a website, and I build it for you in 2 hours. And I build a great website. You really like it, you really love it. It's got all the details and quality and everything that you wanted in the website. But now you're sitting there and you're thinking, oh my God, this guy just built the website for me in 2 hours. And I don't think that's fair that I should pay him $5,000 for just 2 hours of work. But if you really think about it, are you going to penalize me for being so good at my job, for being so efficient at my job and getting this website delivered to you in 2 hours, just because it didn't take me longer to get the website done? Do you think I should be penalized for being good at my job? And so what really matters at the end of the day for you is just that the result that you're looking for, a high quality website, that you get that result. It doesn't matter if it takes me 1 hour or 10 hours or 100 hours, you should be willing to pay me $5,000 that you agreed to for that website. So at the end of the day, what really only matters to you is the result, and you would come to the realization that it doesn't matter if it took him 1 or 2 hours, I got the result that I was looking for. And so hopefully this gives you an example of focus more on results and less on activities. As someone who's developing a website, I could spend 40 hours trying to build a good website for you. But if I get it done in 2 hours, or if I get it done in 40 hours and the result of this is the same, you're gonna pay me regardless. The last realization I had was that everything counts. Everything you do in life counts. Whether big or small, everything adds to your total picture of yourself and all the opportunities that you're gonna have in life. So let me give you a couple of examples here. Early on in my career, I was doing a lot of things like I used to make websites early on in my career just for fun because I wanted to do something online and try to make money online. And so I was building these websites, and how to actually build websites, I had to learn about SQL, databases, web development, memory, storage, all these different things that are related when you're actually building a website. And so at the time, building these websites and learning all these skills, I didn't really think much of it. Later on, I got curious about making applications. I wanted to make like a little game for the App Store. And so that led me to start learning about app development, programming, about variables, about functions, about testing and QA and debugging the application and compiling the application. And I started to learn all these things that were related to app development. Now, both of these experiences were kind of like unrelated at the time and had no idea that later on they would come together to actually help me land job after job, contract after contract for managing projects in IT and tech. So now I'm able to get projects managing infrastructure upgrades, server refreshes, network refreshes, application upgrades, and it's all due to the earlier knowledge and skills that I gained while building websites and building applications. But at the time, when I was doing those things, I wasn't thinking, okay, I'm gonna do this right now so that later I can manage projects on these things. It just kind of happened. And so what I really wanna convey here is that you may be working on things right now or learning things right now, new skills, developing new skills right now that you might think, how is this gonna play together into the bigger picture that's gonna lead to these big six-figure opportunities? And what you should realize is that everything counts. All the little skills you learn right now, like you might be learning Excel, you might be learning PowerPoint, you might be learning SharePoint or MS Project, all these little skills are gonna come together and somehow find a way to create big opportunities for you in the future. So you have to trust in that process and know that somehow life has a way of just bringing all of the skills together for you and then presenting them at the right place, right time, to the right opportunity. Now, unfortunately, the opposite is also true. So if you are right now wasting your time watching Netflix and doing a lot of things that are not really contributing to your future success and not contributing to your growth as a person, to your character, to your skills, then later on in life, you're also gonna realize that you are much farther behind than your peers, than your friends, and it will be much harder to dig yourself out of that hole. So my recommendation is that you focus on developing your skills, developing your character right now, building yourself, because every little thing counts, and you realize that all the things you were doing 10, 15 years ago are now coming together, culminating into something amazing. So those are the top 5 realizations that I had throughout my career that have led me to get to where I am today and even earn $300,000 in a single year as a project manager. And so the first realization, again, to summarize, was that find someone who's ahead of you, who's already done the thing that you're looking to do, learn from them, learn from their mistakes, because you will just move so much faster. The second realization I had was that stay away from the employee mentality, focus on thinking like a business owner, like a consultant. The third realization I had was that people rise to meet expectations. And so set expectations for yourself that are much higher than you would expect, and you will find yourself rising to the occasion. The fourth realization I had was that focus on results, not on activities. And lastly, everything counts. And so make sure whatever you're doing, it is adding to your character, it is adding to your development, it is adding to your skills, because although it may not seem like it right now, it always comes back together in the future to connect to the greater picture, the greater vision of your life. All right, so if you watched till the end of this video, I want to thank you. You are special in my eyes, because not a lot of people make it to the end of the video. That means you like me, you like my content, you like listening to me, you're learning from me, you're developing yourself. And so I would like to invite you to please like and subscribe to my channel, like this video, so that you can see more of me and you can start learning and benefiting from what I have to say. I've got a lot of great things planned coming out soon, so I really don't want you to miss it. And once again, thank you for being here and watching this video, and I'll see you on the next one.